Good morning, gamers. My name's Slavery. I'm a top coach for hundreds of players who's now coached for over 1,000 hours. Over time, I realized I ended up teaching players the same things over and over again. So I wanted to create an all-in-one video to help you and my sanity that any player can start applying to their games and see immediate results. Starting with the easiest, the hardest principles. First up, learn how fast you can tap/burst while still being accurate. Practice the tempo. How long does it take the gun to reset? How fast does it go? Pa 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 pa. Or is it pa pa pa? Practice this with your most used weapons. Classic, Sheriff, Vandal/Phantom. Next up, learn the one bullet window from counter strafes. This back and forth movement is so vital for so many fights. I'm working on a movement guide right now to help, but all this is a back and a forth, A, D, and then there's a little timing where you can shoot one bullet. If you can shoot more than one, you're not doing it right. You need to be constantly moving. You can turn on the fire and arrow graph in the settings to be able to see whether or not you are moving. If it's blue, you are moving. If it's orange, you're Gucci. At the end of this, you're going to bring it both together with this type of fighting style, the back and forth burst. You want to be a moving target while still being accurate. This is the entire goal of this. This one I'm super passionate about. If you want to improve, please don't spend time in unrated or spike rushes or swift plays or smurfing. It does nothing for you. If you're playing with friends, have fun. But you're going to be way better off as a player if you spend that same time training or practicing or learning to become a better player. I see up to immortals struggle with this next one. You need to be playing to the strengths of the economy. If you have vandals and they have pistols, I don't want to see you lurk mid by yourself to give them that vandal. Here's a graph that shows the general principles. I made an entire guide for economy that I will link in the description or on screen here. It is super helpful. It tells you exactly what to do on each type of round. I really suggest you watch it after this. Also, side tangent really quick, if you request a gun and you're not asking the agent directly, Reina, can I have a buy? And then you complain about not having a buy, that's on you. Just ask. Reina's probably listening to TikTok audios. If you are plat or lower, focus on learning how the game works. Practice your mechanics, your peeking, your sprays, gunfight hygiene, movement. This stuff is way more important than having lineups. If you are plat or above, you need to watch 1 to 2 matches of your own game, reviewing it, or studying a similar game. Like, let's say I'm an Omen main, I'm gonna study Omen VODs from Radiant players. You can find this really simply by just Googling it on YouTube. You wanna avoid very generic guides, like 5 tips to help you rank up. Here's a list of 3 I would personally suggest. Next up, don't play off what you need to do. Play around what the enemy has to do. Let's say it's a 3v1. How do we win? We need to have this natural ability to recognize the situation and what needs to be done after. We're fighting an agent. What abilities do they have? Let's say they have flashes. We need to position better to play around them. You can easily expect any flash agent to flash and peek, but you need to have this intuition to check before it happens, because when it happens after, you're just going to feel stupid. Did we 5-man push the site like a bunch of maniacs? And did we get smoked and moldied? And now they just have to hold smoke? How do we make it harder for them to hold the smoke? Can we flash? Can we throw a close smoke? Can we dash outside? Can we use an ult? Can we wait for a lurker? Whoa, your mind's opening up, isn't it? Similarly, we always want to play off the best win condition we have. What ults can we farm / do we have? Can we threaten the spike plant or defuse? And do we need to peek in man advantage situations? Do we need to peek in man disadvantage situations? Next up, this is a fun one. This is really for my high level players who are really trying to get good at the game. Think of each game as a blank piece of paper. Every round you tell the opponent one thing and they tell you something back. Make sense out of their story and don't give them one back. i.e. switch up spots, aggressive this area a few rounds, passive the next, switch sides, don't be afraid to go mid to flank. Remember, they only have 5 players and they can't cover the entire map all the time. That's for you. For them, do they always push flank? Let's just play around a trip or be a rat waiting for them. Next up, and this one's going to be a little harsh, so I'm sorry. Not really. Suck it up. If you don't understand something, you lack knowledge. If you know but don't use it, you lack execution. If you have both, that's where you get consistency. If you beat yourself up or teammates for making mistakes, you lack mentality. Now, Slayer, what do I do about this? Sounds like you lack execution. Listen to what I just said again, and that perfectly segues us into our final one, which is mentality, mindset, this whole shebang. 4 big things I got for you. Mentality. You are the biggest problem. Your teammates in this game right now are not the problem. You thinking your teammates are the problem is the problem. You pointing out their mistakes and what they're doing instead of focusing on what you can do around it, that's the problem. You get me? Second one, focus on the process, not the outcome. As a coach, I do not care whether you win or lose your games as much as I care that you're improving and getting better as a player. You can never entirely control whether you win or lose, and being caught on that outcome is detrimental for a lot of players. The third one, already slightly hinted at, but teammates will throw, they'll be toxic, they'll make mistakes, they'll do things you don't think are right. And they could be, they could not be, but it doesn't matter because it's their game, it's their mistakes. We need to focus on our game and our mistakes as much as possible. And here's the last one, and this will help so much for improving your mentality. Set realistic expectations for how you perform and the goals you set for yourself. A duelist should not set an expectation to top frag every game. You should set an expectation that they try to create space and take aggressive duels when the team needs it. If you set your expectation on whether or not you win or lose, and whether or not that means you're a good or bad player, it's gonna hurt your mentality. If you set an expectation that for the next week, I don't care whether or not I win or lose, I just want to get better at finding the advantage to the round. Beautiful. That's all from your coach. You want some in-depth look in your gameplay? I do free VOD reviews every Friday, and feel free to join my Discord to talk to me and many other members. I hope to start running more events in there soon, but we need more people. I'm gonna be straight, so I hope to see you there soon. Stay safe out there.